Tonight on Missing Persons Unit.
Where's the ventilator?
The heartache of a missing daughter becomes too much for her mother.
I just don't understand what it is.
The search for a cousin feared to be living on the streets after the death of her mother.
She gives so much love to others, and yet you're alone, for God's sake.
A discovery of fresh evidence reignites a 5-year-old case.
There's been a lot of suggestion that she thought she could walk on water, and unfortunately she didn't know how to swim.
And a son's search for his mother, who disappeared while she looked for the thug who left her in a coma.
She was at the place where she'd been bashed before, trying to find out what had happened.
Every year, over 35,000 people are reported missing in Australia. It's the not knowing and the heartache felt by loved ones left behind that makes the work of police at the Missing Persons Unit so important. In this series, we'll witness the extraordinary lengths they'll go to reunite families that have been torn apart. And for those with nowhere else to turn, it's the Missing Persons Unit that offers hope, support, and most importantly, closure. At the New South Wales headquarters, Constable Daniel Higgins is on the phone to the distraught family of missing 14-year-old Cassie Apps.
Yeah, she has.
Mate, could you just tell me a bit of the background and when she went missing and what happened?
Yeah, about a week ago,
Yeah.
Friday last week, we let her go to a party. She was meant to stay at the girl's house, but the mother kicked them all out. She's only 14. She's supposed to be seeing a 17-year-old.
Dan's heard it all before. Young girls influenced by older boys.
But she is a lot more mature looking. She doesn't look 14.
Yeah, how old? She looks 18.
Yeah, she does.
The stress of Cassie's disappearance has taken its toll on her mother, Josephine.
Well, she's been in hospital. She's had asthma just through stress. It's just all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, this is she never gets it like this, but it's been twice this month.
We're basically going to go up and speak to her parents and just see if we can develop any leads with any luck, be able to find out a start for where she may be. There's a bit of concern about it, given the fact that nobody, including her friends or a family, have heard from her for the last 5 days.
More than half of reported runaways are teenagers, and they usually don't want to be found, especially by the police. "1,000 kilometres north in country Queensland, a chance discovery in the bush reignites an unsolved case. Kerry Mackay vanished in February 2003. 4 years later, her abandoned car was found in the bush. A massive operation was launched, with police divers scouring dams and waterholes near where Kerry's vehicle was found. But days after searching, they came up empty. But now, a year later, more of her belongings have been discovered by bushwalkers 2 kilometres from the original search location.
There's identification there with her name on it, a personal diary with her handwriting in it, up and including to the date when she went missing.
Detective Darren Tamblin from Queensland Police has gathered a police dive squad to launch a new search.
4 dams to search today, 1 large one and 3 about half the size of the large one, and a couple of creek beds there that aren't real high at the moment. So
he hopes that this time they might finally be able to provide some closure for Kerry's family.
Kerry's sister is very ill at the moment. She's currently in hospital, and I'm sure, you know, if we were to come up with some sort of conclusion, she'd probably feel a lot better. These were located about 2.5 kilometres from the motor vehicle.
Yep.
In a different direction to the search and away from all the other dams that users previously searched.
Despite being out in the bush for 5 years, Kerry's belongings are in surprisingly good condition.
The 2 water bottles, obviously, that we located, still full of water. It's probably water from the dam. These have all been swabbed and scientifically examined. This one's interesting. It's a Panasonic voice recorder. Hopefully we might be able to retrieve something from that if it's not totally and utterly damaged. Last of all, her diary, which has dried out a bit now since we recently found it, obviously with her name on it. And you go to the 18th of March.
Back to nature?
Yeah, there's a notation there saying back to nature, which is around the time that she went missing.
Could this entry have been Kerry's final goodbye? Back on the central coast of New South Wales, Dan and Mandy have arrived at the family home of missing 14-year-old Cassie Apps.
Yeah. Okay, Daniel. Spoke to you earlier today. Sure, yeah. Come through. Thank you.
It's been 6 days since Cassie disappeared, and the family is becoming increasingly desperate.
But I don't want you to get sick and have to go back to the hospital, OK? OK? You take it calm and we'll go.
As Mandy consoles Josephine, there's an unexpected development.
There's her friend here.
Cassie's friend Jamie Lee has arrived with fresh news of her whereabouts.
Didn't get home until late last night. They turned up at my door like some godly hour.
Do you want to go and talk to them? Just don't know where she is, apparently.
But suddenly, things take a turn for the worse.
Lean against me.
Yeah.
Lean against me.
OK. I know where she is, darling.
It's OK.
Josephine collapses from another asthma attack.
Come here. Lean against me.
Joanne.
Lean against me. Lean.
I know where she is.
We're going to bring her home, OK?
It's crucial police find Cassie soon, before Josephine's health deteriorates any further.
There you go. Good girl. That's the way.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
We'll get you to come inside.
On the central coast of New South Wales,
Lean against me.
Yeah.
Lean against me.
OK.
Josephine's had an asthma attack after hearing news of her daughter, who's been missing for nearly a week.
Good girl. That's the way.
OK, because we know where she is, darling, right?
One of Cassie's friends has arrived to tell Cassie's mum that she'd seen her the night before.
I'll take it, but I'll get that. It's OK.
Look, this is good news, OK? This is really good.
I just don't understand why I'm doing this.
And how was she? Did you see her last night?
She's fine. Yeah,
She's fine?
She's fine. She just, I don't know, she's messed up in the head. Like, she just...
And Jamie Lee is prepared to do the unthinkable to help the police. By phoning one of Cassie's friends, she's breaking the typical teenage code of silence.
Hey, it's Jamie. Have you seen Jeff? He was with us last night and we dropped him, Cassie and Tamara off at Norah Head Roundabout. Yeah, and we were just wondering, like, because we're going to go to the beach and stuff today.
Jamie Lee's trying to get the description of the house where Cassie may be hiding out with her older boyfriend.
Oh, have they? Oh, okay then. Do you know what it looks like by any chance? Because I'm not really good at direction.
Usually, teenagers will not play informant to the police if it involves their friends.
How did that go? All right? Yeah, you're good. You're very good. You get a job as a PI.
But Jamie Lee believes she's doing the right thing.
I know it sounds wrong, but her mum has a right to know she's all right, and she needs to ring her mum at least just to let her know, because her mum like that, it's just devastating.
We're going to try and go and find her now.
It's a good lead to start the search for Cassie, much to the relief of her mother, whose health is deteriorating from the stress.
Seriously, man, like...
We'll look after her if we find her, OK? We'll just talk to her and see how we go.
Just had a lucky break and we're going to get out there and follow some stuff up right now. Hopefully it'll be all good.
At home, Josephine can only hope for her daughter's safe return.
Cassie, I love you with all my heart. The love of my life is you, Cassie, and I want you back in my arms, please. Please come home.
In Queensland, the 5-year search for Kerry Mackay continues.
We're now travelling down to the new search area. It's approximately 2.5 kilometres away from where Kerry's motor vehicle was originally located, and only about 500 metres to 1 kilometre outside the original search area. And once we get there, it's all in the diver's hands. Kerry's campsite was located about 50 metres over here, beside a small creek. 250 metres that way is the first dam, but I just thought we'd make our starting point over here where the property was located.
Over the years, heavy weather may have moved any remaining evidence, so every waterhole will be examined thoroughly.
Anything could have washed over here. There's been a fair bit of rain and that of late, so yeah, just on the hands and knees, just giving it a good search around and just making sure there's nothing in here that we need to locate.
Searching such rough country is a slow, painstaking process. But if they find more of Kerry's belongings, they'll be a step closer to finding her. Back at the New South Wales Missing Persons Unit, Senior Constable Gary Bailey is on the case of 46-year-old Susie Lynch, who hasn't been seen for 5 days.
There's some concerns for her, because this is sort of something that has happened once before, about 18 months ago.
The last time the mother of 4 disappeared, she wound up in hospital after being viciously bashed. Her son Scott is now worried the same thing could happen again. He thinks his mum's returned to the same place where she was attacked in the search for answers about her bashing.
My youngest sister called her. She told her that she didn't think it was a good idea for her to be there on her own. From then, she didn't answer her phone, so she tried ringing sort of throughout the day, still no answer.
That was 5 days ago, and no one has seen or heard from Susie since.
All right, we'll see you over there in about an hour or something, mate, and we'll see if we can work out, all right? Go on, you bye. She's gone back to the place where she thought she was assaulted, and that seems to be the last place that anyone's heard of her. We'll go over and we'll see Scott and talk to the missing person's mother and that, and just see if we can get some more information, and it's quite intriguing at this stage.
In the case of runaway 14-year-old Cassie Apps, Mandy and Dan are following her friend Jamie Lee, who's leading them to a house where they think Cassie might be hiding.
Is this the roundabout, or...?
Yeah, just up here in front of us.
Okay.
She's using the information she uncovered through phone calls to Cassie's friends.
We dropped them off, like, pretty much here last night.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the first one up there, not the one on the corner.
And her detective work has paid off.
The house, and it's a creamy colour shack kind of thing.
But if Cassie sees the police, she may take off, so they'll need to make a cautious approach.
We'll just hang back. We'll wait. We'll give you a minute after you go to the door, and then we'll pull up.
A teenager helping the police is unusual, and by doing the right thing, Jamie Lee could be risking a friendship.
She's been really brave in what she's doing and telling us, and obviously putting a friendship on the line, and I think a real true friend would do that.
It's the right place. It's time for Dan and Mandy to move in.
Cassie?
Is Cassie here?
Oh, hi, Tamara.
Hey, Tamara. Is Cassie inside? Make sure she doesn't take off.
Police have caught up with runaway 14-year-old Cassie Apps, who's been in hiding for nearly a week.
Want to sit down?
Mandy's had plenty of experience with runaway teens, and she's used to dealing with emotional situations.
I know what we're here, though. Without trying to sound like an old person, we've all been 14, you know, and it's the hardest age. And most of our cases, most of our missing person cases are your age that are going through the same thing. They don't want to be at home. They're missing out on their education because they're not sure where they want to be. They feel they're, like, you're old enough to do a lot of things, but because of your age, that restricts you. But from experience and from people we've dealt with, the most important thing for you is to think of how this is going to affect your life and what you want to do.
You're one of the lucky ones because you have somebody at home who really, really loves you. So what do you think?
Let's go and talk to your mum, and then we'll go from there, yeah?
And despite the apparent disloyalty, it seems the friendship with Jamie Lee is still intact. After 6 days in hiding, police finally return Cassie home. But seeing her parents is what she's been avoiding. and facing them again will not be easy. On the case of missing mum Susie Lynch, Gary and Diana are heading to Matraville in Sydney's eastern suburbs. Susie disappeared in her search for a man who viciously attacked her a year ago. But the case against Susie's attacker was dropped due to lack of evidence. Now, in her search for justice, she's gone looking for the thug who put her in a coma.
4 or 5 days, it's quite concerning, you know. She's made no contact with anyone. So hopefully we can get some good information off the son and the mother, and will lead us to where the missing person may be. Scott?
Yep, that's me.
So you come from Gary Valley, missing person.
How you going? Nan's around the back.
Around the back?
So
Okay.
This is my Grammy.
All right. So can you just sort of tell us what sort of happened this time, when you last seen her?
Well, she got up on Friday morning, had a shower, and took off.
Yep. No one else has heard?
My sister called her, Kai,
Yep.
and she said she was at the place where she'd been bashed before, trying to find out more about what had happened.
No, we sort of had a bit of a look. I think she finished up with some really serious injuries there.
She was in intensive care. She was in a medically induced coma for over 3 weeks.
Would she recognise this person again?
She supposedly has a photo of him on her phone.
But her family's unclear where the attack happened.
Got a rough idea. I know like, the guys' names that I've got from her, and it's either Malabar or Maroubra Road. Obviously, they're big roads in a lot of places.
And what about pubs and clubs? Would you have an idea where she was sort of
She
at a local
goes
place?
to Seals
the
Club.
Maroubra Seals Club, and apparently the Sands Hotel.
Who does she go to the pub with? She goes with a friend on a Friday. He picks her up on the way home from his work.
Oh, okay. And who's that? What's his name?
His name's Sam.
Sam.
Sam is the only lead police now have, but without a contact number or surname, it's not much to go on.
Find her as soon as possible.
As Gary and Diana head out to search for Susie, her son Scott hopes she's found unharmed.
Mum, if you're watching this, we do care, we love you. We just want to know where you are and what's going on, so get in contact with someone, please.
Back in Queensland, on the 5-year search for Kerry Mackay, the police dive team is preparing to search a large dam.
This is the largest dam on the property that I need you to search, Rick.
Yeah, and you can see there's weed matter in there, so yeah, there's areas that things can get caught up, and it's worthwhile searching for sure. Yep.
What we're looking for are bones, material, or any sign of items of interest in the lake.
The entire dam will be scoured, but before entering deeper waters, the dive squad has the dirty task of feeling every muddy inch of the water's edge.
Start the painstaking search.
And they persevere, knowing that if they find Kerry's remains, it would finally mean some answers for her family. Back in Sydney's eastern suburbs, Gary and Diana are canvassing local clubs in the hunt for missing mum, Susie Lynch.
Yeah, Kate. Yeah, Gary Barley from Missing Persons. We're just making some inquiries. This lady's gone missing. I just wonder whether you've ever seen her around here, or...
Yeah, I have seen her.
Yeah. Recently, or...?
No, it'd been 6 months ago and her hair was lighter.
Is it?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
There's no sign of Susie in her regular watering holes. But one thing Gary has found is a phone number for her friend Sam.
Hello? That's Sam, is it?
Yeah.
Just inquiring into Susie Lynch. Do you know her?
Yeah, well, I'm looking for her.
Do you ever have sort of phone contact with her, or it's only just when you pick her up and that?
Yeah, I've got her phone number, but her phone's going dead now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, mate,
It's another dead end. And with Susie looking for answers about her bashing, her safety could be at risk.
OK, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
You know, it's sort of getting to the stage where we're really concerned now.
At home, her mum Patricia fears the worst.
You don't know where she is, what's happening to her, who's got her, if she's alive or dead, you know.
On the New South Wales Central Coast, runaway teenager Cassie is finally brought home by the police. But after being in hiding for nearly a week, she's unsure how she'll be received.
I love you. Thank you so much. Please stay home. Please stay. Are you okay?
Now, Josephine just wants to know how her daughter can be prevented from running away again.
What can we do to make it better for you?
No, let me see Jeff. It's the only thing I want is you to let me see you.
But Cassie, you're only 14. You have to understand that. You have to do age-appropriate things.
Dan, who has a teenage daughter himself, suggests a compromise.
He is trying to get Jeff to be involved with your parents so that they can get to know him like you know him, okay? We saw how he cared about you today, but your parents haven't had the opportunity to see that, and so they are worried for you.
It's not easy being a parent, Cassie. We don't get a book. We don't get anything. All we get is what we feel in our hearts and our souls, and like I said, you are the love of my life.
I'll try harder, okay? I promise you, all right?
Thank you. You're welcome.
That's just a fantastic outcome. We couldn't hope for better. Obviously, she's home now, she's with her family. She's got a really good, loving family there, and she's obviously got a lot of good, close friends, and all that together today has helped us to just do our job and bring her home, and that's what we're here for, and couldn't ask for a better result. Really happy.
In Queensland, on the 5-year search for Kerry Mackay, the dive squad has found nothing on the dam's muddy banks, so they're gearing up to explore the deeper waters.
So the kit, full protective dress on the dive. Okay, it's a bit colder, so you're going to chew a bit more gas.
Being a police diver can be a difficult and dangerous job.
It's very slow and tedious because you're always getting entangled in the weed. You've got to stop and untangle that weed. It gets wrapped around your lines, and you've got to wear lines in this style of diving because you've got to know where the divers are at all times because, OK, if you're just watching the air bubble, you lose the air bubble. Where is that diver in the water?
And there's a good reason the police divers are being so thorough with their underwater search.
Unfortunately, Kerry suffered from schizophrenia, and there's been a lot of suggestion that she thought she could walk on water. She would often go walking in the bush, and unfortunately she didn't know how to swim.
Back in New South Wales, Mandy's taken on another case.
Hello? Hello, is that Janet? Yes.
She's speaking to the cousin of Marlene Najarian, who's been missing since her mother's death 4 months ago.
So she looked after her mum?
She looked after her till the last minute that she died in her hand in the unit, and that was it. After that, she just lost it.
Depressed and not coping with the death of her mother, Marlene disappeared. But 2 weeks ago, she was sighted living on the streets.
Who actually saw her around Fairfield?
One of the friends, I don't know, they just called me. They said, she's there. I went there. I didn't find her.
Okay. I'll need to come out and see you if that's okay, and we can sit down and...
Yes, thank you.
All right. You're welcome, Janet. I'll talk to you soon.
It's a sad situation for the close-knit family. Mandy and Phil want to get Marlene off the streets as soon as possible, so they head straight out to visit her cousin, Janet.
She's lost her mother and is taken to living on the streets. If we can change that and help her understand she still has family here that care about her, well, that's a good thing. Janet, how are you going? Mandy from Missing Persons, this is Phil.
Hello, nice to meet you.
So just to get an idea of how how she came to leave. I know her mum passed away and that was a really sad time for her.
That's all she had. It was just them two, no one else. It's her mother and daughter. She gave all her life to her mother. But unfortunately, after her death, it was too much for Marlene. No one around. Mum's not around, and that's it. She was devastated.
A family wedding video shows the stress Marlene felt during her mum's illness.
It was too much for Marlene. She stayed with the friends, a couple of friends. We visited her on and off, but then after that, there was no contact, nothing. And to come to this stage, and after all these years hard working and building her life, and all of a sudden, you're in the street, it's... Well, put it this way, I can't bear that. She gives so much love to others, and yet today you're alone, for God's sake.
Susie Lynch has now been missing for 6 days, so Gary and Diana are calling hospitals across Sydney.
Prince of Wales, is it? We have a missing person. I just want to see if she may have been admitted there in the last few days.
Just wondered if you could help us out. We're looking for a missing person.
Sue or Susan Lynch has been admitted there this morning.
It's either Sue or Suzanne with
Thank you very much for your trouble. OK then, bye. No luck?
Nothing, no.
Although Susie can't be traced to any of the hospitals, Gary's uncovered the name of the medical centre she regularly visits.
This is about the only thing we've got to go on at the moment, and maybe just hope that someone's seen Susie and can give us a lead as to where she may be. This lady has just disappeared.
Back at the office, Liz Drake is on the phone to Susie's distraught son, Scott.
For the last 2 weeks, I've been spending at least 6 hours a day trying to find out where she is, driving around myself.
Yeah.
So,
Scott's fears are typical of the emotional roller coaster that families of missing people suffer. It's the not knowing that tears them apart.
When I heard that there was a missing body in Bondi Beach, I honestly thought it was hers. It wouldn't be a surprise to me.
Really? That's very scary.
But finally, police are about to receive some good news.
From missing persons unit, we've just got a lady here. We think she comes to this practice. Would you just like to have a look and just see if you know her? Or?
Susan, yes, I know her.
Do you?
Yeah.
When was the last time you've seen her?
I think I've seen her last Tuesday here.
That was only 2 days ago. It's the break they've been hoping for.
And you're pretty sure it was Susan?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I know her for
you
last
know
9
her?
years, yeah.
It's a relief for police who feared the worst when she took off to look for the man who attacked her.
It just shows that she's alive, and that's our main concern at the moment.
But until they actually find her, the search for Susie must continue. Across town, Mandy and Phil continue their search for Marlene. They hope the local police might know the best place to start looking for someone who may be homeless.
There are a couple of areas where homeless people are known to go.
Yeah.
One of the chief areas is the Crescent Reserve near the Fairfield railway station.
Yeah.
And probably the other primary area that you might want to have a look at is the actual Fairfield Park.
Hello, we're looking for an elderly lady that's been pushing a shopping trolley around.
I've seen so many people go up and down pushing trolleys.
With no luck at the park, Mandy and Phil hit the main shopping street. And it's a homeless woman known in the area as Streetwise Sue,
Are you Sue?
who is true to her name by giving Mandy some good leads.
Do you know a Marlene? She pushed a shopping trolley?
Been another woman who pushes the trolley
Gypsy one? Maybe.
It's a good friend. We grew up together.
You see Marlene around anywhere?
Probably at the church.
At the church?
At Christian church.
For lunch?
Yeah.
She's an absolute gem. Very, very helpful. Supplied some very vital information that she possibly has lunch with Marlene on a Monday and Wednesday. So we've got a lunch date with Sue at the church, and hopefully we get to meet Marlene as well.
At home, Janet is still worried for her depressed cousin.
please, wherever you are, just give me a ring. That's all I'm asking.
Okay, pull tight. Pull tight.
In Queensland, the police dive squad has spent hours scouring the length and depth of a muddy dam in the search for Kerry Mackay. But after finding nothing in the freezing waters, and with the sun setting, they're forced to delay the search till the following day.
Unfortunately, we haven't found anything, but I'm still fairly confident that we'll probably find something tomorrow. So we'll kick it off tomorrow morning.
In Queensland, police from the Missing Persons Unit have joined day 2 of the search for Kerry Mackay. With the recent discovery of Kerry's belongings nearby, her case has been reopened with a sense of hope.
Missing Persons Unit and myself will be conducting a foot search along the creek where Kerry's property was found just recently, whilst the divers will be conducting their search of this dam here, and later on they'll be doing another search at another creek just down the road near another property.
But it's been years since she went missing, so police need to be thorough in their search of the area.
We're currently in the creek bed that leads to the area where we located Kerry's property. It's a dry creek bed, dry most of the year, but when the rains do come, it does flood. If Kerry has passed away at her campsite there or near to that campsite, she may have been washed down during floods. A lot of dangers in this area. We've just passed a big black snake, so if Kerry was down here at any stage, she also had to maybe overcome some sort of dangers from the wildlife here.
But after 2 days of searching,
Oi, Nick.
Suddenly, Darren makes a discovery.
Yeah, mate. What does that look like to you?
Could this be the end of a 5-year search? In Sydney, there's been a breakthrough in the case of missing mother Susie Lynch. She's returned home a week after disappearing.
What I intend to do now is we'll go out there and see if we can find out where she's been all this time, because she's caused a lot of grief to the family.
It turns out that after unsuccessfully searching for the culprit who'd attacked her the year before, Susie became unwell and did in fact end up back in hospital.
Liz.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
Will you come round and have a little yarn, do you? You just come round and just see that you're all right after you've sort of missing there for a little while. You mightn't think you were missing, but you probably thought you were all right, were you?
Yeah, the reason why I didn't come home for a week was I was sick.
Yep.
And then I still didn't get better, and I said to Mum, I said, if I'm not home, I'll go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I ended up ringing the ambulance.
Like most people who go missing of their own accord, Susie's failed to realise the impact her disappearance has had on those around her.
Scott, he was really worried about you, you know, because he hadn't heard from you.
It sort of took over your life for a little while, like travelling around looking for her. Just don't know what to think, what to do, where to go. Told her she's got a mobile phone and use it pretty much.
No, it didn't have a battery charger, so my phone went dead. So, and I've got the numbers in there. And I only know Mum's phone number and Scott's phone number. And because it wasn't my phone...
Yeah, well, that's right, you really
I didn't want to phone a mobile to mobile.
Yeah, that's expensive. Right, Susan, thank you very much for your time, and just remember...
Next time, ring.
Ring Scott or ring someone or...
Ring home.
Yeah.
During her disappearance, Susie was unable to find her attackers, and so the lack of evidence against them means her case remains unsolved. At a dry creek bed in outback Queensland, Darren thinks he's found some of Kerry Mackay's belongings.
Oi, Mick.
Found something?
Yeah, mate. That looks a lot like the same colour as a sleeping bag. It looks like it's got a string to it. It could be a sleeping bag cover or something. That's what I reckon it is. I reckon it's a sleeping bag cover.
Yeah. Could be right.
All right,
It's got a drawstring around.
Have to bag it, mate, and take a photograph of it.
If it does belong to Kerry, it's an incredible find, 5 years after she vanished.
To me, this suggests we're searching in the right area, or perhaps something has just washed down with the flood from Kerry's campsite down there. But it's definitely food for thought, and we'll continue on.
The discovery restores hope to the search team. They now know they're definitely searching the right area.
Surf's the diver too. How do you read? Can you just give us a bit of a sit rep of what you got down there, thanks?
Yeah, I've got a water temperature of about 28 degrees. The bottom surface is muddy, very silty.
And enduring extreme conditions of freezing, muddy waterholes is simply part of the job in the search for Kerry Mackay.
I think we do a very important job for the police service. We're repatriating a family of a missing person, so, I mean, we're trying to help them get closure to their life and get on with things.
Back in New South Wales, in the search for homeless lady Marlene Najarian, Mandy and Phil have dropped into a soup kitchen she's known to attend.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, Sue. They're harmless, look.
Hey, Butch. Butch.
And true to her word, streetwise Sue is here to meet them.
Have you seen Marlene? Still not seen her? This is taken August last year, so she look a bit different now. Her cousin reported her missing.
I know a chick like that, but she's got short hair and she wears gold.
Yeah.
She wears a lot of gold, rings and stuff.
Maybe. We're actually looking for this lady. Does she look familiar at all to you?
I think
she
so,
does?
yes. Probably within the last few weeks I've seen her.
The fact that everyone here recognises Marlene tells police they're getting closer to finding her.
I'm confident she's still in the Fairfield area. We know she's grown up here. I mean, I'd be surprised if she's gone somewhere she's not familiar with. So we'll keep trying, we'll find her.
And one way to do that is to check if Marlene is picking up any welfare payments.
We know she's getting payments on a regular basis, so from that we were able to see regular dates and times that she was actually doing that. So we've been able to pinpoint a time, and it's pretty much to the second.
Police have just received surveillance footage, which will soon tell Mandy if they're on the right track.
She's got a lot of stuff there. There she is.
Glasses.
Yeah. That's her. Her hair's pulled back, and there's the bag.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely her. She looks, well, she's lost weight in the face, though, doesn't she?
It is Marlene. So Mandy and Phil rush back to Fairfield, hoping she attends the same place at the same time each day.
Hopefully Marlene will be down there to withdraw some money this morning, so fingers crossed, and hopefully we get a happy ending this morning.
Mandy and Phil's detective work might just have paid off. As soon as they arrive back at Fairfield, they spot someone that looks just like Marlene.
That's got to be her. Green bag, long hair.
Definitely.
It's
definitely her.
Across the road.
If the woman with the green bag is Marlene, it will bring an end to 4 months of worry for her family.
Marlene.
Hi.
This is you?
Yeah.
We've been looking for you.
Finally, the missing persons unit has caught up with her.
You walk so fast.
Yeah.
We speak to Janet Atto.
Yeah, all right.
She's your cousin. They were all worried about you.
Oh, no, I told her not to worry about it.
Can I
saw
ring
her
her?
here, I took it.
Can I ring her? Can you just tell her that you're okay?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'll ring her. Is that Janet? It's Mandy for Missing Person. I've got someone wants to say hello to you. It's Janet.
Hi, how are you? Don't. Why you are worried so much, sweetheart? I told you not to worry. I'm not a baby.
Come have coffee.
Yeah, why don't you come over and have a coffee? Okay, then. All right, here, I'll give you to Mandy.
She looks so well. Listen to you.
She's going to love to catch up with you.
Yeah.
Hang on, Janet. Come back in, we'll have a coffee. Yeah. After your meeting, you come in there.
Yeah, all right.
And she wait and say hello, and then we'll go.
Okay, then.
Okay?
All right, then.
Mandy's official duties are now over, but she won't be satisfied until she's reunited the two cousins.
That was so exciting. Right place, right time. Looked like her. She was going so fast, we were worried we could catch her, but in the end, she turned around, gave us a big smile. She's safe, she's well, and yeah, I think for Janet, though, I think she needs to see her in person.
In Queensland, it's now been 2 gruelling days of searching the large area around Kerry Mackay's campsite.
But that's definitely the same sort of colouring That sleeping bag wasn't.
And despite the discovery of her sleeping bag cover, no further evidence has surfaced.
Any items located yet, mate?
No items located.
It's a disappointment for all involved.
We like to come to a situation and find the thing we're looking for, not come here and have a go. We're here to find it. We're here to get that evidence back or get that person back.
But the search team has done everything they possibly can.
There's so many obstacles out there, so much debris over everything. Even if you are doing a search, it's so hard to find stuff because of all the foliage and that out there, especially through that creek there, which is probably our best bet in finding her, I think.
Unfortunately for Kerry's family, her disappearance will continue to remain a mystery. It turns out the sleeping bag cover was the same colour and brand as the sleeping bag found at Kerry's campsite. But the voice recorder was too damaged to retrieve any information. And so to this day, Kerry remains just one of 1,600 Australians who have never been found. If you have any further information about the disappearance of Kerry Mackay, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Back in Sydney, months of anguish are about to end for Janet as she's reunited with her cousin Marlene.
No? No? I will kill them. They haven't told you?
How about Janet? Good news?
You're making me. Stop it.
He hasn't told you. Why hasn't told you?
I just can't put it in words. If you're looking for so long, and then you have no contact at all, and then you just cry yourself to sleep and thinking, just praying to say, I hope to God she's okay. This is the happiest moment of my life. It's just so beautiful to see.
Janet, she cares about everybody. It's very...
And you.
That's a great result. I couldn't hope for any better, and I don't think Janet's going to let go of Marlene anytime soon, and that's what family's all about, making contact and letting someone know that you're there and you care.
Every year, over 35,000 people are reported missing in Australia. Have you seen Scott Brown, who disappeared from Coffs Harbour in early 2008? Or Susan Madden, last seen in Western Creek, Tasmania in 2005? And Elizabeth Barlow, who went missing from Sydney's Redfern in 1995? If you have any information, please call 1800 333 000.
And I'm sure, if we were to come up with some sort of conclusion, she'd probably feel a lot better. These were located about 2.5 kilometres from the motor vehicle.
Yep.
In a different direction to the search and away from all the other dams that users have previously searched.
Despite being out in the bush for 5 years, Kerry's belongings are in surprisingly good condition.
The 2 water bottles, obviously, that we located, still full of water. It's probably water from the dam. These have all been swabbed and scientifically examined. This one's interesting. It's a Panasonic voice recorder. Hopefully we might be able to retrieve something from that if it's not totally and utterly damaged. Last of all, her diary, which has dried out a bit now since we recently found it, obviously with her name on it. And you go to the 18th of March.
Back to nature.
Yeah, there's a notation there saying back to nature, which is around the time that she went missing.
Could this entry have been Kerry's final goodbye? Back on the central coast of New South Wales, 10 kilometres north in country Queensland, a chance discovery in the bush reignites an unsolved case. Kerry Mackay vanished in February 2003. 4 years later, her abandoned car was found in the bush. A massive operation was launched, with police divers scouring dams and waterholes near where Kerry's vehicle was found. But days after searching, they came up empty. But now, a year later, more of her belongings have been discovered by bushwalkers 2 kilometres from the original search location.
There's identification there with her name on it, a personal diary with her handwriting in it, up and including to the date when she went missing.
Detective Darren Tamblin from Queensland Police has gathered a police dive squad to launch a new search.
4 dams to search today, 1 large one and 3 about half the size of the large one, and a couple of creek beds there that aren't real high at the moment. So
he hopes that this time they might finally be able to provide some closure for Kerry's family.
Kerry's sister is very ill at the moment. She's currently in hospital.
Every year, over 35,000 people are reported missing in Australia. It's the not knowing and the heartache felt by loved ones left behind that makes the work of police at the Missing Persons Unit so important. In this series, we'll witness the extraordinary lengths they'll go to reunite families that have been torn apart. And for those with nowhere else to turn, it's the Missing Persons Unit that offers hope, support, and most importantly, closure. At the New South Wales headquarters, Constable Daniel Higgins is on the phone to the distraught family of missing 14-year-old Cassie Apps.
Yeah, she has.
Mate, could you just tell me a bit of the background and when she went missing and what happened?
Yeah, about a week ago,
yeah.
Friday last week, we let her go to a party.
Tonight on Missing Persons Unit.
Where's the ventilator?
The heartache of a missing daughter becomes too much for her mother. The search for a cousin feared to be living on the streets after the death of her mother.
She gives so much love to others, and yet you're alone, for God's sake.
A discovery of fresh evidence reignites a 5-year-old case.
There's been a lot of suggestion that she thought she could walk on water, and unfortunately she didn't know how to swim.
And a son's search for his mother, who disappeared while she looked for the thug who left her in a coma.
She was at the place where she'd been bashed before, trying to find out what had happened.
She was meant to stay at the girl's house, but the mother kicked them all out. She's only 14. She's supposed to be seeing a 17-year-old.
Dan's heard it all before. Young girls influenced by older boys.
But she is a lot more mature looking. She doesn't look 14.
Yeah, how old? She looks 18.
Yeah, she does.
The stress of Cassie's disappearance has taken its toll on her mother, Josephine.
Well, she's been in hospital. She's had asthma just through stress. It's just all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, this is she never gets it like this, but it's been twice this month.
We're basically going to go up and speak to her parents and just see if we can develop any leads. With any luck, be able to find out a start for where she may be. There's a bit of concern about it, given the fact that nobody, including her friends or a family, have heard from her for the last 5 days.
More than half of reported runaways are teenagers, and they usually don't want to be found, especially by the police. 1,000